In late October 1996, Madrid's government announced that they had chosen the American company Time Warner to build their newest tourist attraction, Warner Bros. Movie World Madrid. The city of Madrid had bought a lot of land in the southeastern part of the state, in the city of San Martín de la Vega. They were sure they wanted to build a theme park, but they were not so sure about who would operate it. The project was presented to big companies like Paramount or Universal, but Madrid's government finally chose Time Warner, discarding the possibility of building a Universal resort in Spain. But Warner didn't take the project on their own, because during the time these negotiations were happening, Six Flags was a part of Time Warner. So the plan was for Six Flags to operate the park, because they had the knowledge and experience from all their previous parks in the US. However, this didn't go as planned, as in 1998, Warner suffered from a very big financial crisis that resulted in them selling Six Flags, being now a property of Premier Parks. But finally, in 1999, the city of Madrid and Warner finalized all the negotiations and the park went into construction. The park was named Warner Bros. Movie World Madrid, a name that was kind of not appealing to the Spanish public because it was hard to pronounce and hard to remember. In terms of design, Warner was in charge of designing the whole park itself, because the city of Madrid was just a financial support for the project. When planning the overall look of the park, they had in mind a park that was almost at the level of Disneyland Paris. And even though Six Flags was no longer a part of Warner, the park was heavily inspired in the design of those in the USA, not taking in consideration what the Spanish public liked or what worked. And after 3 years of construction, on April 5, 2002, the park opened its doors. They held a pre-opening where more than 10,000 people assisted and that was televised nationwide. And even though the pre-opening was a huge success, the focus on the park's opening shifted to the weather as there were heavy rains happening along with the pre-opening. But the following day, on April 6, 2002, the park finally opened its doors to the people of Madrid. During its first operational season, the park had more than 1.5 million visitors, and even though it's a big number for a new park, they were expecting 1 million more. But during this time, they had already opened a new ride, The Adventures of Scooby Doo. But the attendance was not the main problem that the park was facing, as Six Flags would abandon completely the operations of the park, leaving it all to Madrid's government. The new park featured 5 different areas: Hollywood Boulevard, Movie World Studios, Superheroes World, the Wild West, and Cartoon Village. As the guests walk into the park, they first find Hollywood Boulevard, which is a tribute to the Hollywood streets, featuring a Chinese theater or a Walk of Fame. The area called Movie World Studios is a tribute to the original Warner studio lot. It is themed with buildings, cars, and things that make it look like a real city. The most important ride of this area is Stunt Fall, a Vekoma-inverted boomerang coaster. But this ride was not originally planned to be in this park, but because of problems with foundation in the original location, Six Flags decided to bring it to Madrid. Guests will also find in this area a very important show in the park, which is Police Academy, or a very emblematic ride, The Haunted Hotel. The Superheroes DC World is dedicated to the superheroes of DC Comics, and in the expansion of the land, it holds 2 cities, Gotham and Metropolis. In Metropolis, and passing through the gates of the Daily Planet, guests will find Superman, the Steel Attraction, a B&M floorless roller coaster. It features a 55-meter drop as well as many inversions, but originally they had plans for these coasters to go up to 65 meters, but it wasn't possible to build in the end. Now in Gotham, there are many attractions and shows themed after the Batman, like the Joker's bumper cars, Mr. Freeze's swing ride, or the Revenge of the Riddler. But the main attraction in this area is Batman, the Escape. It is also a B&M coaster, but this time is an inverted coaster. And it is a clone from other coasters that Six Flags has in other parks and also have the same theming. And this model of coaster was the first ever inverted roller coaster in the world. In this area, there was also a motion simulator called Batman Night Flight, very similar to the others that they have in the parks in Australia or Germany. But it closed down in 2015 to leave the space for a new Justice League ride. But as of today, that hasn't happened. The show building remains abandoned and empty, with no signs of being rethemed or reused again. The original ride closed down because it was presenting many issues with the projectors, because they were film projectors and not digital. Also, the cabins were not all in operation, only 2 were working out of the 6, and the other 4 were used for parts to replace with things that broke down in the operational cabins. In Old West territory, the main attraction is a wooden roller coaster called Coaster Express, and it is the longest wooden roller coaster in the whole of Europe. Originally, this coaster was named Wild Wild West, but because of the park dropped the rides for that movie, they ended up having to change the name to Coaster Express. Cartoon Village is the area dedicated to the little ones, and it features all the beloved characters from the Looney Tunes as well as other Warner brands. Here the kids can visit the houses of their favorite characters or ride a roller coaster themed with Tom and Jerry. This theme park was part of a major tourism project, Parque Warner Madrid Parks and Resorts. They were planning to build a massive complex with hotels, water parks, convention centers, and even a university, and most notably, the biggest shopping center in Spain. But because of the financial crisis in 2008, the project was put on hold to wait for better times for construction. The major shareholder of the company, Fadesa, agreed that Parques Reunidos would operate the park for the next following 10 years. It was really on their hands to make sure that the park worked and was successful during the crisis. The park finally changed its name to Parque Warner Madrid, a name that was more appealing and more memorable to the Spanish guests. And with the change of name and the change in operation, the park became successful. In 2009, a new coaster was opened, Roadrunner Beep Beep, in the Cartoon Village area, an area that also had a major expansion in 2011. In 2014, and with an investment of 8.5 million euros, Parque Warner Beach opened its doors. This was a water park next to the main Warner theme park. Then in 2017, the first VR coaster in Spain opened its doors. It was the previously built Batman coaster. Now the riders had to choose between wearing VR goggles or just riding without them as the classic roller coaster. It is also very important to mention that Warner does very well in the special seasons, especially during Christmas. But during Halloween, they also adapt many buildings in the park to hold haunted houses, which are a massive public success. The latest addition that the park has made was a show in the main lake of the park, Aquaman. In 2019, this show opened to major success. It features stunts, water and fire effects, and also fireworks. Parques Reunidos has been very clever and has managed to solve all the problems that Parque Warner had presented. And even though there has been an effort to renovate things and make it fresh, everything falls short when comparing to other parks in Europe. The park has all the infrastructure to become a great resort, but because of the lack of investments, it feels like the park is completely stuck. But far from being a bad park, it's just a park that could be better than it is. And with the right moves, it could become a top park in the whole of Europe. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe for more content like this. See you soon.